What is going on, everybody? My name is clutchsometimes, bringing you some power rankings for another league. I am not participating in this one, but BTown graciously asked me to help out, so I am here. So here we are. So joining me tonight is BTown,
Hello, how are you guys doing today?
and once again we have M Dragon.
Yeah, how's it going, guys?
So this is a Jenks draft league. This is a APA style league. It is 3 drafts throughout the season, drafting every 4 weeks. So we're just based eating these on just drafts. Nothing on players, nothing on anything else.
Yep.
So without further ado, I guess we just kind of get right into it.
All right.
Starting at the bottom here, we have the Kansas City Crocodiles. So the team should appear any second now. I'll be editing this in. I'll read it off as well. Mega Alakazam, Heatran, Suicune, Darmanitan, Gligar, Ludicolo, Turtonator, Nidoking, Blastoise, Fortress, and Spiritomb.
Did you just say Nidoking?
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine.
I mean, granted, pronunciations are kind of bull in Pokemon, but I mean, I'm pretty sure that's Nidoking. But anyway, regardless, in accordance to Maxis's team, I know that it kind of was a bit of a head scratcher for some people with the triple fire and the triple water, but not capping off with the triple grass. Jokes aside, the team still looks really threatening. Even all like jokes aside, I really like the combo of Heatran with Fortress, and Mega Alakazam and Darmanitan are always threats.
I think that's pretty agreeable. I think Zam is really, really good, especially like people are starting to really catch on with like Zam. I think that's becoming really hot in like drafts in general right now.
Yep.
I don't like how it's supported on this team. I think there's a very massive speed gap between Zam and his next fastest Monte against Darmanitan, which is a 55 point gap between Zam and Darm, which is massive. Also, there's no Ghost or Dark Resist behind it, which is really sus. And most of this team doesn't really like knock, which Zam tends to like get targeted. Now that he trains, so you can don't like losing their lefties. Gligar doesn't like losing to Violite. Like most of this team does not want to take knock, which is going to be kind of a potentially issue for over the next 4 weeks for Maxos to me.
Right. I do like the Spiritomb sort of pursuit trapping ability there. I like that he's got Gligar there to kind of like eat up the EQs that are obviously being targeted at all the fire types as well as Nidoking, even Zam. But yeah, it's just sort of weird. Like when you have 3 fire types and 3 water types on the same team, like it's kind of hard to have like too much synergy. But at the same time, he's got threats. Like Zam's always good. He can trap stuff. Sequence always threatening. Dom can win games late game.
I mean, I think like
plus we can always talk about how good Suicune is,
especially with like T-Spike support from Nidoking and Fortress. I think that's really potentially good, but the speed gap is this to me the biggest thing in this team. The lack of like high speed tiers after Darm between Zam and Darm is really bad.
Right.
The lack of Ghost and Dark Resist around Zam is really threatening. Like a good strong fighting type would be kind of nice on this team, but
yeah, I don't know how I feel about Ludicolo on this team. I don't think it does anything. Turtonator, just I don't know what that even does. Guess Self Smash.
Like you gotta get 2 of them off before you get anywhere though.
Yeah.
I always forget the name of the move, but it gets some kind of move where. Yeah, that's the one thing that it gets. But I mean, just hit it with a special.
Yeah.
Yeah. The funny thing is, he's got good mods. Like most of his mods are good, except potentially Turtonator and Spiritomb. But but they just don't work together too well.
Yeah, I think that's probably about sums up this team. Moving on to the next.
I'm just gonna quickly before we move on. I just want to say that even like I said, I still would agree that I would still say that there are no bad teams, because if anyone sleeps on that team, there are mons on that team that could sweep any specific team.
Mhm.
So there are no free wins.
No free wins.
No free wins.
Um,
Back to EPA Premier League.
Next team, I think we averaged these out like right beforehand. So the next team we're gonna move on into, because a lot of our rankings are like really different. So we're gonna move on into Zoro and his Sherbrooke Venusaurs.
Yeah. Our rankings are sort of all over the place, but we're going to be going by the averages here.
Team should also appear now. Mega Gyarados, Kartana, Sylveon, Kyurem Standard, if you want to call it that. Mind Shao, Miltank, Lantern, Gliscor, Typhlosion, Decidueye, and Alakazam.
I personally really liked the team in the beginning stages of it, and overall I still like a lot of parts of it. There are just a couple of missing pieces that are kind of glaring that keep it from being in the top half.
Yeah, for sure. Like, the obvious thing to notice is that he does not have a Moonblast Legend at all. Like, something like Moonblast, something is probably going to die. Like, Typhlosion is the only thing that can take it. Like,
it was also weak to rocks as well, Typhlosion's case.
Right. And when his like main sweeper is weak to Fairy, it's not something you want to be. And like main Shao and Kyurem as well.
He has a lot of things that like draw fairies out and just like are free to click, but does not have them to like really like doesn't have them to really take hits. He has things where like most of his mons do have reliable recovery. Ugh, stumbling over my words there. Like Kyurem has Roost, Gliscor has Roost, Miltank gets Milk Drink, Decidueye gets Roost. Like they can take hits and like recover up, but like it's just the team just to me feels underwhelming. That's my thing. Cart and Gyarados are great mons in their own right, but I think I don't know. I just feel like it just feels like it's lacking in some sense of like a true like power mon.
Right. I like that he's got Kyurem there to sort of deal with grass types that might be troubling for Gyarados and potentially Cart. Kyurem is just nice in general. Like,
Kyurem's really good.
Gyarados can beat a lot of his own counters. Still, like, it's gonna struggle with a couple things here and there.
An interesting thing is going to be that I expect a lot of defensive Decidueye coming, because that's something that this team needs. And to be honest, Decidueye can be a really good wall, but not being able to just freely choose between defensive and offensive could be a problem.
Right.
I do like about this team, however, it does have really strong pivots. I think Gliscor, Decidueye, Mind Shao are like really strong like offensive pivots. They can being able to bring in things like Kartana, bringing in things like Mega Gyarados, Typhlosion, Alakazam of U-turns from Gliscor is really, really great for this team to be able to break effectively.
Yeah, I just don't see like any massive threats other than like Gyarados and Cart to an extent, but Cart can't. Like, everyone's gonna be running HP Fire this draft.
That's probably going to end up, and that's another thing, Miltank will probably have to end up being a really big part, but then again, it's also weak to fighting, which is something that Mega Gyarados is weak to as well.
As well as Kartana.
And in fact, fighting is kind of a problem against this team as well. I mean, you have Decidueye and Alakazam, but a lot of things don't like taking and fighting. Sylveon can handle it too a little bit, but a lot of things don't like fighting moves.
Fighting plus Ice is nearly perfect coverage, if not perfect coverage against this team.
Yeah. Sylveon kind of can deal with it. Will score weak to ice. Like a fighting plus ice could be an issue for sure.
I mean, Sylveon could take some of them on, like Hyper
Right.
Voice, etc., etc. Wish, Protect, Toxic, standard dot Sylveon things, but like he
Also
gets Sylveon
kind of
on a
struggle.
timer plus like potentially just like wearing
Right.
it down. You need to throw off his.
I will give him this though. I'll give him this. He has 3 heal ballers on this team, so good luck trying to go with the Will-O-Wisp strategy.
For sure.
Yeah.
Um.
He even got the aromatherapy Cortana there. I don't know if he gets it.
Wait, he gets aromatherapy?
I don't know. I just made that up. I don't think he gets it.
It wouldn't surprise me. It does get defog, so like.
That's good defog. I mean, Kurt's a good defogger.
Yeah, I think this team. If Zoro can prep, if Zoro finds a way around like certain teams, he'll in prep out of it. Like
Yeah. I think Zoro will have no problem prepping for it. Like, I think he admitted that it's not the greatest team, but we've already seen one of his games and what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to say about this team, or should we move on?
I think we're good.
Okay. AJH is Chicago, correct? Yes. So moving on here, to the Chicago Grand Bulls, coached by AJH. Team should appear as well. So the team consisting of Megalopony, Clefable, Magnezone, Donphin, Salazzle, Trevenant, Lapras, Latias, Umbreon, Esselgor, and Clawitzer.
I'm excited to see Clawitzer finally used in League because
so
that
cool.
thing can hit like a tank.
Oh, Clothes hits absolutely hard. Like, that was one of the reasons we kept it in tier 4, not moving it to tier 5, because Clothes hits like incredibly hard.
It also gets like momentum options with U-turn. I think it's a really cool Pokemon that should honestly see more usage.
I think Clothes is cool. If it was not a water type, I think it would be like better. Just because like it being a water type just limits.
That's fair.
What
Things I like about this team, I love Spikes plus Lopunny. I think it's a really, really great, really strong archetype. Like he has Zone Latias can do some work. Dropping steals for Latias is really great.
Yeah.
He has decent rockers. Donphin and Clef are pretty decent rockers as well.
Right.
Great Wish support.
Yeah, Wish Umbreon as well as like potentially Wish Clefable, passing to Donphin, passing to Lapras, I guess. But like that's what it kind of like falls to me. I think Clef plus Umbreon are both really good, but like after like this team is like has a really strong start, like Lopunny, Clef, Latias, and then it just really falls off to me. I think Magnezone kind of fits, but Magnezone is its only steal. I don't like that very much.
Sort of a lot. He might struggle with like the thing is like Umbreon's kind of like a weird taunt bait. Like, he might struggle a little bit taunt here. Like, Clef doesn't like taunt. Latias doesn't necessarily like taunt because it wants to set up or roost. Trap hates taunt.
Lapras doesn't really like anything.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate.
Lapras is not like great Pokemon. It's weak to rocks, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like some really strong parts of this team. I think like, but after that, it really just to me falls off.
Yeah.
I also find it weird that that he has 2 4 times weak to ground Pokemon. I mean, I've seen that sometimes with someone have like 2 4 times weak to ice, because I mean that sometimes is unavoidable, but 2 to ground it seems very unusual to me.
And realistically, he doesn't have the best resists either.
Right.
Because like he has Trevenant and he has Latias, but after that, it's like that's all he's got. And like you can, in Trevenant's an okay Pokemon, but it's like you can pressure it pretty well.
Yeah.
And Latias,
he might struggle with like ground plus dark sort of spam here. Like
that actually is perfect coverage.
Yeah, it is.
It's like a Crocodile 6-0s.
I mean, Umbreon eats.
That's true.
But
Umbreon is though.
Yeah, but again, that's the point, right? Like Umbreon sort of taunt bait. Like if a Crook taunts Umbreon, he can't do anything back.
Mm-hmm. He has ways around darks. I think though. Like I mean, Lopunny is obviously a great dark answer, and his Lopunny and Clefable are great dark answers.
Right, right.
It's just he's got good mons, but after it's like he's got a really that's the I'm gonna go back to that again. He's got a really straight start, but like his low tiers just struggle to like be successful.
Yeah, yeah. He's just gonna show us what the draft's capable of.
Okay, so movie. I think are we all good on AJH here?
Yep.
Yep. Moving on to more initials. JJ. And
Now I like JJ's a lot more. Oh, yep. Sorry, I forgot you got to do the team.
JJ in his pure Pidgeots. You're good, BTown.
Yeah.
Team is appearing now. Mega Steelix, Tapu Lele, Chansey, Jolteon, Silvally, Alamomola, Levani, Halucha, Victini, Flygon, and Alolan Golem.
Okay, now in my defense, because you guys both have him like relatively
13,
low, and then
12,
I have him like towards the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's what I see and why I put him a little bit higher than you guys. Victini, we always know about his fire hit, but Victini in Psychic Terrain gives its Psychic, which is admittedly its weaker type, a huge boost.
Mm-hmm.
On top of Unburden Halucha and adding webs from Levani to slow things down. This team is a lot better than it looks, because it looks pretty mediocre on surface value, but when you dig a little deeper, I see a really tricky team.
I think that's a reasonable answer. I think I think it's offensively it could be really threatening, but after it has like 3 good Pokemon. I think like Victini, Halucha, and Tapu Lele, and like Mega Steelix, I think are all like really strong Pokemon. Flygon can be okay in some matchups, but after that, I think it's just really poor. Chansey, Aloe, or like is a really passive wall core that doesn't make much sense to me, especially on the same team. Alolan Golem doesn't seem for serve much of a purpose here. It feels like to me, it can trap steals, but like when you have Victini and Mega Steelix to deal with steel types, and Halucha and Victini, like, yeah, it just seemed out of place. Savali could have been like really nice utility. It is one of 2. I guess he has 3 defoggers, but Halucha doesn't run defog. Flygon is like kind of an okay defogger, and Savali can kind of defog in certain matchups, but I would like to have seen a spinner.
I don't know where it fell in the draft, but I feel like Galvantula would have made a much better fit on this team than Jolteon.
Yes, I can agree with that. He's got decent momentum options though for Lele, which I think is really important with Lele, but he doesn't have a dark. I think a good strong Pursuit Trapper would have been phenomenal with this team, but he does not have that.
Right. And the thing is, he would really struggle with like a fighting type clicking substitute. Like Aloe can't break the sub, Chansey has to switch out, Lele doesn't want to take poison jab or knock off or whatever. And like he doesn't have a fighting resist at all. Like Lele is not one. Like Lele doesn't want to switch into it can take it, but it's not ideal. And like he may be like forced to bring some sort of defensive Silvally Ghost maybe.
Yeah, I don't see any other type of Savali except a ghost.
Yeah, I think on offensively, I think BTown's. You're right there, BTown. I think it's really threatening, but after like, it has like 4 or 5 good Pokemon, and so like really struggles to deal with anything else.
Yeah, these rockers are kind of like
Mega Steelix isn't a good rocker. But that's it's like Mega Steelix, Alolan Golem, and Chansey as our stealth rockers.
Like, Mega Steelix can get up rocks every single week if it comes, but it's not necessarily going to come every single week.
No.
Also, I'm just going to say this, and I know this is this is kind of like a bit of a debate, but in League, I prefer Blissey over Chansey. So Chansey's just Blissey can at least attack a little bit. Chansey is just way too
It's
passive.
also not neutered by knockoff as well. I
Right.
agree with Blissey over Chansey.
Completely agree. Yeah, Blissey can like at least like ice beam stuff, calm mind even. Like, but yeah, just Chansey just can't do it at all.
Yeah, it has to run like it runs like Chansey runs like the same 4 moves if it wants to run them,
Yeah.
and like it's just kind of a struggle. Yeah, I don't really like this team that much. I think I think maybe it could do something with like I know Lele Lucha is like really good and probably can win games. And Victini obviously like is a brilliant wall breaker for those two, but like it really struggles to do much past those like 3 or 4.
Right. I think it's gonna depend a lot on how well his offense performs, like how much momentum he can get with the Victini, with the Lele, put things in range of Holucha, and not really rely on his defensive passive sort of code.
As someone who has won a championship with Lele Lucha, you need to rely on your other mons because everyone is going to prep for Lele Lucha.
Absolutely. Victini being there is huge. Like Victini's like this huge wall breaker that not many mons can take hits from, but still, Victini's Victor is like other things going on.
Do we have anything else to say about JJ, or shall we move on?
I think we talked about. I think another thing is like if you can get up webs and keep them up, like Willie on the webs, like Victini on the webs is not something you want to deal with.
Yeah, Specs Lele on webs is absolutely awful to deal with.
Yeah, just Victini, Lele, both of them. Just so if we can do that, that's gonna be like his sort of win condition. I feel like.
Okay, moving on to our next team. The Canton Crocodile is coached by Rich. Team is going to be Mega Gardevoir, Kyurem Black, Arcanine, Greninja, Heliolisk, Quagsire, Armaldo, Ferrothorn, Mandibuzz, Nidoqueen, and Rotom Spook.
I think I have this team a lot higher than you guys. I actually really.
Yeah, I think this team has like really strong pieces. I think like there's a few parts of this team I really like. I think Gardevoir, Kyurem Black obviously is 0 switch-ins.
Yeah.
Especially when you pair it
You'd be surprised how many switch-ins. It's more than one, believe it or not.
I mean, I guess steel types.
Just in my experience. But I agree. It's a fantastically powerful team. It's just that it's so many. When you have as many mons as Rich does that are really weak to rocks. I mean, not like 4 times weak, but Kyurem and Arcanine hate rocks.
As does its like main defogger on this team, Mandibuzz. Just do not like rocks.
Don't get me wrong, Mandibuzz is an absolutely fantastic defogger. But like, even as weak dropped itself, like Rotom's a like okay defogger. Like, but I don't think Armaldo can like bend at all, and like pretty much like, if it's pressured by like a ghost, like you can't really do anything.
I think Armaldo's there to be a spinner, which I think is an okay role on this team, especially with, like Greninja spike stacking him as well. Like,
right.
I think Rich's best move with this team is definitely like get up all the hazards he possibly can and just pressure everything with Gardevoir and Kyurem Black. Like,
I love that he's got spikes and 2 of the biggest like wall breakers here. Like a lot of the things that want to switch into Kyurem and Gardevoir or steel types, which don't care about rocks that much, but they definitely care about spikes. And like I love that he's got like colorful fire, water, grass core there, like Arcanine, Ferrothorn, and Greninja. That's really good.
Yeah, he fills out his core. Standard cores really well. I love the bulky water with Quagsire or Greninja. I could have very easily put this team higher. I just think BTown mentioned like the removal options are a little sus on this kind of team.
Yeah, I really like this team too. It is we're kind of at that situation where a lot of teams are bunched together, and we're having to nitpick just to kind of choose. this team right here. I love Quagsire on this team because the biggest thing you're going to want to do is set up before they set up. So having an unaware mon is really nice.
Right. Yeah, I think this team's really good. Like BTown said, a lot of these teams are good on this like sort of upper middle type of deal, and we had to like, sort of nitpick to rank them.
So yeah, I think is that about cover it for.
Honestly, M Dragon, I'm surprised you didn't put him lower for him taking your Greninja away from you.
Yeah, that was big. I did really want Greninja, but hey, I mean, I knew it would go. It's a really good mon, especially
Tier
in tier
3.
3. Tier 2 mon, by the way, but alright.
Is all we have for Rich there?
Yeah, I think you're good.
All right. Let's move on to our next team here. I believe it's a Drum and his Nimbasa City Shockwaves. I'm gonna move this slide here. I have Nimbasa here. So Nimbasa's team consists of Mega Venusaur, Celesteela, Mimikyu, Crocodile, Aerodactyl, Smeargle, Zebstrika, Latios, Volcanion, Illumise, and Hariyama.
Okay, so real quick, this gives me flashbacks to UPA Season 4, and I don't like that, but it is a better version of it, so we can go ahead and agree on that. But that's kind of why I put it low, because I'm having PTSD from seeing a Mega Venusaur Celesteela Latios team. But M Dragon, I want you to talk first, because you had this team in the top 3. So kind of explain why you love it so much.
First of all, BTown, I completely understand. Looking at the team, like that reminder of your team, makes perfect sense. But I like this team a lot. The reason I have it so high is because I think Celesteela is just fantastic on its own. Obviously, he prioritized Goat Rockers. Crocodile's just super reliable, can come almost every week. Like that, he's got Arrow there, sort of like a good fire resist. Mimikyu's like good cleaner if like Sully can't clean up some game. Some of his picks are like questionable. Smeargle, like that's gonna depend a lot on how. Obviously, Zebstrika I think is not great. His speed tiers are like decent. He's got Arrow, he's got Zebstrika, which I don't know how many times he can come. Latios is good. The reason I like this team is because I think it can really like work together well, especially if he can like get up rocks, keep them up. He's got good defoggers. Like, Latios is decent. Volcanion obviously best defog. Arrow there. I don't know. I think I really like the Mimikyu plus Celico. Like that's one of the things that really sort of because like Celesteela can beat pretty much every steel type in the game. And steel types are sort of like Mimikyu's worst sort of nightmare. So he can beat pretty much all of them, other than Heatran. Like he's got Vino there, and like obviously Vino Sally is really good. And I feel like just again like BTown's team it was good. Just had like these sort of weaknesses that really held it back, and I feel like this team almost fixes them to an extent. We'll just have to see how I use it, but I do like the look of the team. The bulky water not great, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, actually, part of my complaints with this team is the removal options. I think Laddie is really good, but that's like the only good removal option on this team, in my opinion. I think Arrow is a really poor remover, and I think Volcanion is also a really poor remover. I think it supports Selly really well, but after that, it's just a lot of underwhelming ones. There's a random Illumise on this team.
Yeah, he does have a good number of underwhelming ones, but I feel like his big threats are actual pretty big.
They're pretty solid threats.
I'll defend the Zebstrika pick if you think about it from this angle. I believe Zebstrika has 2 abilities that let it absorb electric attacks, one for physical and one for special, and this is a team that is fairly weak to electric. The downside is that you have to bring Zebstrika every week, though.
you don't really want to do.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna depend on how he uses what he plans to do with Smeargle as well. That's gonna be interesting.
Mm-hmm. It just feels a
It'll
lot of
make
this team just feels like very out of place to me. I think like it's a very strong start. Selly, Lottie, Mimic, Lottie. I just said Lottie again. Venusaur. I think Volcanion can function. It pressures waters really well for like just parts of this team. I think
Right.
Subtoxic Volcanion is like its best set
Right.
personally, just because like it just beats most waters.
Yeah, I think
After that, like Crook is really a really strong pick. I think like Arrow can function on this team, but I think Zeb's like. I mean, there's just 3 or 4 monsters on the team I just don't like on it.
I completely agree. I feel like the biggest thing about this team for me is that Crook and Mimikyu are just so good here. Crook is just such reliable rocks. Sully loves having rocks on the opposing side. Wants to lead seed and wants to force this. Mimikyu is just, great cleanup, steel types. Sully beats pretty much all. So, and Volcanion is kind of like a steel killer as well. So, just have to see how he uses the team.
Yeah, I definitely think this is going to depend a lot on how well he preps on it. Because, like I said, a lot of things fit together, but only if he forces it to work together.
Yep. I think is that all we have to say about this team here?
Yeah.
All right.
That's good to me.
All right, moving on to the next team we have is Kyle and his Jacksonville Jolteons. Team consisting of Mega Mawile, Landorus Therian, Cresselia, Araquanid, Rotomo, Ambipom, Rampardos, Noivern, Cobalion, Magmortar, and Weavile.
So I'm going to go ahead and state this right now. If this team had a special attacker, it would be a top 3 team, without a doubt. But it doesn't really have a good special attack. I mean, I guess you could call Noivern. I mean, is it really a special attacker? Mo is a nice pivot and can hit hard once with Leaf Storm, but is it really a good special attacker? And Cresselia, I guess you'd have to set up some calm minds first before you become a good special attacker.
I think it's an okay Pokemon. I just think it's hard to get in. I think it's hard to like kill things with it.
Yeah. Obviously, he's got the Landers team Mega Mole.
That's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely! I love that combo.
And I love the double steals with Mawile. I think just like keeping pressure on him, and like he went with kind of an odd steal as well in Cobalion, which I think is is the fine pick as well. Like those two are very different.
Right.
And they're very strong.
I love that he's got sort of multiple dimensions to the team where he can sort of go Trick Room, or he can go like set up Lando. He has like some very fast mons in Weavile and Noivern.
I don't really like Weavile on the team that much. I don't think there's much to like actually trap for this team.
I think it's alright. Like the ice tab sort of helps. It like he doesn't want to run like Z Fly on Lander or something.
Yeah, I mean it breaks grasses, but like he has a few other things that can do that as well. I suppose. It's just kind of weird to me. It's nice for this speed tier though. I can get behind that.
I think Weavile plus Cobalion is sort of like a pretty decent offensive core there. Like Cobalion does struggle with psychics.
That's fair.
And Weavile struggles with fairies, which Cobalion deals with, as well as Mega Mole, of course.
One of my bigger complaints here is like removal is a little odd. He has like decent removal options. He has like he has the Landorus like just can run defog, but you don't necessarily always want to run in defog. Rotomo's a pretty good defogger, and like Noivern, they're all like decent defoggers, but like maybe like only one or two of those you really want running defog in a given week, and like it's very awkward to me.
Also, like all 3 of his rockers, not necessarily run them every week. Like Lando might be set up. Mawile never really wants to run rock. Cobalion can run rocks like always, pretty much, unless it's set up. But
hey, Rampardos can run rocks.
Yeah, thank you. The rocks Rampardos.
Rock
I mean, what else is it there for? I mean, I guess a head smashing its way to victory.
Head smash and Trick Room could be kind of nice.
Yeah, I absolutely hated Rampados on Gassy's team, but on this team, it's kind of like decent.
Like
You can get him.
it's like another flying resist next to Mawile as well. It's kind of an okay Bon.
Right. Like it hits so hard, and like if you can get under Trick Room, like it'll be very hard to switch in. Like not many people can switch into like Bandit and Smash from this thing.
Also, Ambipom is one of the most underrated normal types. It literally is a pest no matter the game it's in. It always makes some kind of impact.
Yeah, it hits decently hard.
He clicks fake out, clicks knockoff, clicks U-turn. Yeah. Like just it'd be kind of annoying to catch. I kind of like it when this team breaks up like with like the Landorus like in Mawile pressuring steals like
he's got a lot of fast mode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's very much like a speed duality to me. Like
yeah,
it's very like fast mon, slow mons, and he has like ways to do like to have both of them like function. He has like Trick Room Cresselia, I just think is a really strong pick on this team. Like
absolutely, as well as the webs from Miraculous.
Yeah, and like he has ways to do like abuse both sides, and I really like that. But yeah, it's just, there's a couple things I complain about, but I think it's still a really strong team.
Yeah, basically, my biggest problem is just the special attackers. I mean, like I said, I listed out the ones that can be special attackers, but there's just not really. I'm much more threatened by the physical aspect of this team than I am at the special aspect.
I mean, there's no physical assault vest, so at least if you got that going for him.
There's not many physical walls that can roll a Mega Mawile.
So Mawile plus Lando is really hard. Yeah. Another special breaker would have been nice, but
no one's okay. Magmortar is like kind of slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so I think that's pretty good for Kyle. Moving on to our next team. I guess I should have been. Oops, went back. Our next team here, Link and his Honolulu All Stars.
Yep.
Team looks incredibly familiar.
Yeah, so at this point, all the teams I feel we just had to like nitpick to sort of like them.
Mm-hmm. Here, all right, Link's team here. Mega Charizard X, Mew, Conch Elder, Sarina, Primarina, Seismitoad, Steelix, Scolipede, Zygarde 10%, Braviary, and Special Muck, aka Zoroark.
There is no such thing as a physical wall that can handle that team.
No. I love this. I actually really like this team. Like I love the grass breakers around Zygarde 10, like Zardex plus Scolipede plus Braviary can just pretty much bash in any grass type that ever wants to come in on Zygarde.
Right. Right.
He's good rockers, like it's Seismitoad plus Steelix are pretty good rockers. Mew can also run rocks. Mew can do a lot of things as well.
I think rockers is solid. I think Steelix and Toad can come. At least one of them can come every week, and they can rock every single week.
I love Sarina for momentum, bringing like Rapid Spin, bringing Charizard X afterwards. Like,
yep.
Primarina is like just come in, click buttons on teams, and like bring in your Charizard X. They bring in their grass type, or bring in your Scolipede. They bring in their grass type. I'm not sure on BTown Pass rules in this league. I assume it's banned.
It's just
BTown Pass is, I believe, only dry and sub.
That's
okay,
right.
I mean it's still something for Scolipede, I guess.
Yeah, I really like the Conkeldurr plus Mew core. I think that's
Conch Mew is really good.
Yeah.
And like especially when Conch hits a Flamer Pop, it just like doesn't mind coming out and knock and just clicking Drain Punch afterwards. Like I think Conch's really good.
Like the Conkeldurr plus Scolipede core as well. Conkeldurr may not necessarily want to deal with psychic types, and Scolipede just wants to kill them.
And this team just like doesn't. This team just pressures fairies incredibly hard. Like he has like a really good switch in like Steelix, and like Scolopy can take on fairies really well, like Poison Jab. But like, it's just really hard for like fairies to like just exist with like everything else. It's like clicking their secondary stab moves at them.
I think it's an incredibly good balanced team. He's got good speed. He's got good ball, extremely high power. He's got
great,
versatility.
great speed control options as well. Just like Dragon Dance, Charizard, Scolopy, like come out protect sets. Like he's got good priority and like Zygarde Extreme
Yep.
Plead plus Zoroark. Sucker
Double
Punch.
Dragon Dance core of both the Dragon.
Zoroark on this team really changes the dynamic because of how you're scared of everything. What if it's a trap and it's actually a Zoroark?
I love Zoro plus Conk. I love that so much. I love Zoro plus Strong Fighting. It's just really, really terrible. It's just awful to play against. Because like, oh, let me just bring out my Psychic type to check your Conk Elder, and then like you get bopped with the Dark Pulse, and you're like, oh, well, now I just lose. Now you just lose to Conk. Like it's just such a great pairing.
Actually, then no, that's just Specs Conk.
Special Conk.
There's also the fact that he's got the Defiant Braviary, in case he wants to set up his Toxic spikes with Scolopy.
Yeah, I just love it. I think Link's team is really good. I think I could have put it higher, but
I agree. I think all the teams at this point are incredibly good, and we just had to sort of nitpick. But yeah, I think this team is really good and it's really high potential.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think
the one thing that I think I kind of put the reason why I didn't have it higher is that Link's really going to have to master Mew. I mean, I know that he really likes Mew, but he's going to have to use Mew very well because it's going to need to do a lot of different things in different matchups. And if he brings the wrong set, it could like ruin a game.
Just be fodder. It's up
right.
Yeah. Mew is definitely the key point on this team, and I think if he positions it correctly and brings the right stuff, it's very much his favor.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Should I move on to the next team here?
Yeah.
All right. So next is probably the more controversial of of our teams. Because I know M Dragon has it really. Oh, M Dragon has it quite low at 10. I have it at 8, and BTown has it at 3. We have Jenk and his Anaheim Mighty Ducklets, averaging out at around 6.
Yeah, in my defense, I have Janet low because I know he doesn't want pressure on him, so that's the reason I have him low.
Reading off the team really quickly: Mega Altaria, Excadrill, Hippo, Rotom Heat, Crobat, Scrafty, Dusclops, Tangrowth, Reuniclus, Melodic, and Stoutland. It's a very different team than I'm used to Jank drafting.
So this is basically my Season 5 PBL team, but perfect and not losing to Reuniclus because Reuniclus is on the team.
I like.
But in all seriousness, as a fan of bulky offense, this is like a dream team for me, and so I admit my bias. I admit my bias when I rank this team high.
This team's really bulky. It's got a ton of recovery, like an absolute ton of recovery. He's got like almost half of his months of recovery, more than half.
I love Tangrowth on Sand. I think it's a really strong pairing.
Right.
I just what gets me about this team, I have it so like kind of low. I think that this team just like is going to be very hinged on Drill and Sand for speed control, and like it's not that Drill can't do that. It's the fact that you're like forcing Drill to do that. I think Drill is a phenomenal Pokemon. I love Excadrill. It's a great Pokemon. It can do so many things for a team.
Absolutely.
But like, and just forcing it to be on speed control is just like only getting that one side of Excadrill.
Absolutely. I love that. I love the Drill plus Altaria pairing.
It's like Drill and
it's just
really
well. Like Drill being his second fastest mode. Obviously, Drill not fast.
We were talking about like Maxos's gap earlier. This is like kind of asimilar to that, but like not nearly as big.
Not nearly as big, but yeah.
But like just a lot of this team just hovers around that 80, 70, 80 threshold.
Right.
and it's like you can kind of park breakers, you can park fast ones, like and like
Yep.
and that's like and it's just fun. I think the key point if like teams have good drill answers, it'll be like kind of a more like different match, a harder match. It'd be kind of a harder matchup for Jank if teams have like good Excadrill answers. Granted, he has like the best Excadrill answer on his own team, so like I like Jank's. I like parts of Jank's team. I just don't like the fact that Drill is going to be speed control for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna come down to a lot on how Jake plays his bulk. He's gonna have to keep filling the back until like late game. You know, his bulk is gonna have to like wear down the opposing team and bring them all to like a drill sort of range, either drill or Altaria. You know, like it's gonna depend on how Jake plays bulking on the arena. Melodic, Tangrowth, Dusclops even. I like Stoutland there. I think it's a cool breaker. I think he can break for drill. Not that drill in too many things broken, but yeah.
I do think it's kind of weak to T Spike. Drills like he has like he has like remove options that are like not weak to T Spike, which is like great. But like I think all of his removal except for like Bar Mega Altaria is like not weak to T Spike, which is great. But like if you can force in Tangrowth and Melodic on T Spike, it's like really good for or Hippo even.
Team's not right. His team's not necessarily weak to T Spikes. Like Tangrowth doesn't care about being toxic too much.
Ridiculous actually doesn't care.
Melodic, you know, might be burned. Hippo cares a lot. Like Drill doesn't care, Roran doesn't care. So I don't think it's too weak to T Spikes, but yeah, he may have.
Scrappy doesn't care depending on the ability.
Yeah, Shedskin if you get lucky. Yeah, it's like the balance core is really strong, but like.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but like the balance is great. The speed tiers are awkward.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see him use it. This is a very different team for Jank. And what I've noticed a lot with hyper offensive players, when they start off with hyper offense, they naturally gravitate towards bulky offense. And it's going to be very interesting seeing Jank with his first bulky offense team.
Right. I agree. I'm very excited to see how he uses his team.
So I think we're move on here to our cumulative number 5 team, and BTown and I have this at 4, and Dragon obviously has it at about 6. Mora and his Monterey Gyarados. Team consisting of Mega Aerodactyl, Garchomp, Rotom-Wash, Uxie, Shaman, Alolan Persian, Pyroar, Azu, Registeel, Gengar, and the Piloswine.
So this team is basically momentum into Garchomp and Azu.
Oh, it's so strong.
The first thing I love about this team is the double ground with Garchomp and Piloswine. That's one of my favorite things to see in the draft. Absolutely.
Those two cover each other so well. I love Rotom-Wash momentum into Arrow or Garchomp or even like Gengar as well. Gengar is such a great such a great target for all that like momentum. Just like being able to bring in like this big scary Gengar, because like something I kind of always noticed, like most teams, like a lot of teams like really lack like strong ghost resists. They maybe have one, but if you have like a way around that, it's like very easy to like park your specs ghosts in front of teams and just click Shadow Ball.
Yeah, I love Gengar as sort of a grass killer here. Like Garchomp doesn't like grass types. Azu doesn't like grass types. Rotom hates grass types, and Gengar is sort of like, you know, a really good grass killer. The one thing I don't like about this team is that he doesn't have great grass switches. Like, Gengar is not a switch into anything. Like, Azu doesn't want to. Pyro, Victorox doesn't want to take it. Like, he might struggle to switch into grass types. And I know he said that he got sniped a good amount, like especially towards the end there as well.
I think Uxie is probably going to be the biggest factor in how well this team does. I mean, granted, we're grading on the draft because we know more of the player is going to be able to get everything out of this team, but the Uxie is going to have to put in a lot of work for this team to reach its full potential. With Trick Room, with Rocks, with Status, it's going to have to put in a lot of work for this team to work.
I do love the defensive sort of turn core Rotom and Youth.
I also love like Alolan person on this team a lot. I love Z Party and chat with this team so much. I think Z Party and chat like Garchomp is just awful because just Garchomp's just so bulky and like having to kill it potentially twice on like an SD set, giving like one of these like offensive pieces like another chance to like climb through a team is just incredibly valuable.
Or Z parting shot into a belly Dramazu.
Twice. Once is enough to some teams, and having it a second time is just as more painful. I think this team's really strong. I think he has a good option.
I think this team.
If he keeps him, the key point with this team will be keeping up offensive pressure. If he loses it, he can easily a game could easily slip away from him.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else to say about Mora's team, or shall we move on?
Oh, did we even list the team, or did we stop doing that?
Did I not? Oh.
I think we did.
There's a graphic. It's fine.
Okay.
We'll go back to.
I have very bad memory.
We'll work on that with Rex. Speaking of which, next team on the list. I am gonna move this slide up to the top 3 because Rex is in at least BTown's top 3. Mega Manectric, Jirachi, Hydreigon, Mudsdale, Amoonguss, Jellicent, Avalugg, Togekiss, Regirock, Zangoose, and Keldeo. This is a really strong team. I know Rex doesn't want to hear that, but it's a really strong team.
This team is really good. Like, it was just good pick over and over again. Just everything around, just very solid pick, and it works beautifully. Just the synergy's great. Momentum's there. The breakers are there on both sides. He's got the Jirachi who can do pretty much whatever it wants to do. He's got really good defensive core there. The Amoonguss, Jellicent, Mudsdale, doesn't have fire type. Doesn't really need it too much. Like pretty much all the pieces he needs.
Mm-hmm. Like Jirachi and Hydreigon just are really nice together, regardless. Like this B tier is like kind of like being so similar. Obviously the Jirachi Togekiss, the flinch core, whatever. I think they just pair really well naturally together. Just like having the natural fighting resist of Togekiss paired with like Jirachi and like the ground resist and all that jazz. Like that's a really strong core.
The two things are really amazing about this team. One, we talked about it throughout in some, like the teams we had ranked lower. We had like, why does this team have this mon? This mon isn't going to come any this week, so that kind of stuff. This is a team where the entire team's synergy makes sense and works 100% well together. And the second thing I wanted to mention is that it's a team where the clear walls can be attackers when they need to.
It's 11 mons that can come to every single game.
Absolutely. And we know that the Keldeo Mega Manectric is sort of a proven core from profs, UPS. And Keldeo hates grass types. Mega Manectric wolfs on them. Dragon is sort of like a really good grass type answer.
Togekiss as well. Like just
even
mashing the air slash button and getting flinches is very nice.
Yeah.
I would have with my one complaint about this team, I would have loved T-Spikes, but Amoonguss is still a very solid Pokemon. T-Spikes plus like Flinchax is like really good.
Right.
But other than that, I've got nothing. I think it's a really strong team.
I love Jellicent on this team so much.
I think he's just
such a great
everything. Like, it's just a really solid team. Like, he's got switching to every type there is. He's got like offensive pressure on both sides. Just really.
The big thing about Jellicent on this team, though, is it's a Scald switch in for Jirachi, because you're most likely going to be running physical Jirachi on this team. I mean, you could run special Jirachi, but you'd probably prefer to run physical, so it's going to give you a great Scold switch in.
He's got great toxic answers in Among Us as well as even Zangoose to an extent.
Oh yeah, toxic boost Zangoose does not mess around.
Yeah.
Whatever that ability
Just
is, I think it's toxic boost.
You've got very solid rockers in Mudsdale, Regirock, Jirachi if it wants to run, but Mudsdale's just really
Mudsdale's
solid.
such a strong rocker. And stamina.
Just
this is a really strong team, and there's so many good things to say about it.
Yep.
Shall we move on?
I think so.
Much to BTown's dismay, we will move on to our cumulative number 3 team, the Bloomington Breloom. Mega Scizor, Zygarde, Alolan Muck, Vaporeon, Gardevoir, Copagrigus, Archeops, Infernape, Electros, Empoleon, and Lurantis.
I'm going to let you guys go ahead and talk about this team, and then Alex, and then I will dispute or explain any questions or thoughts.
So,
main thing I like about this team is that he's paired Zygarde with some of the best grass killers in period. Just Mega Scizor loves U-turning on them, Infernape loves killing them. Alolan Muck, fantastic grass answer. Just Alolan Muck hates ground types. And he's got the the Electros to pivot into them. Then Mega. Just I don't know. I just really like this team.
I really like Vaporeon plus Zygarde. I think it's a really strong pairing. Being able to Wish Pass into Zygarde, being able to Heal Bell for it, make sure it doesn't get statused. Like it's just like the ice resists around it are great. It just makes that Pokemon so much.
I think Gardevoir is just really good on this team. Like, Zygarde always deals with steel types. Gardevoir hates them. Infernape deals with steel types.
Mega Scizor steel types. Kind of. You run superpower through him, Bull Punch through him sometimes if you get enough boosts.
He's got a really solid rocker. That might be sort of like a weaker point on this draft. Empoleon, it's the most reliable rock on this team. Infernape, it's good, but doesn't really want to run rocks. Archeops,
this team does not have the best. I mean, Empoleon is like a solid stealth rocker, and like it can come to games if you need it to. Like if you really need to force Empoleon just to run stealth rocks, there's always a spot for Empoleon. I found.
Absolutely.
And he has like Wish support for it as well, like Vaporeon plus like Empo, but like it's like, I think like the lack of like true rockers is really like kind of there. I think Copagrigus is a good Pokemon. I think it's really good. I love T-Spikes for Zygarde. Like that's just like things I really like on Zygarde drafts, or like T-Spikes.
Yeah, right. Because it wants to sub up, it wants to protect, it wants to sort of like wear you down even when you're sort of checked to it.
Yeah, I think it's a really strong team.
Well, that is dark versus Alolan Muck doesn't want to switch into knockoff. Mega Scizor doesn't care about Infernape doesn't care. I think it's just a really strong draft. It's got great synergy.
Yeah, it really frees up Zygarde just to like run whatever the heck it wants, and come to matchups. And like Zygarde can stay at home in some matchups and just like be fine with it if it doesn't have matchup. Like he has like it's not overly centered on like a certain Pokemon. It's like Zygarde and there's like other things around it that just like support it, but can be like free on their own as well.
He's got so many threats that everyone has to prep for. Like Mega Scizor, you have to prep for SD or you will lose. Zygarde, you have to prep for it. Alolan Muck, you have to prep for it. Gardevoir really gets score for it. Infernape, you have to prep for it. Like it's just all like even Copagrigus, it's just every 11, all the 11 ones, just threats.
Thank you. Someone finally mentioned Lurantis. My son was feeling left out. That's my third son after Decidueye and, of course, Breloom. But the biggest thing is that I think Empoleon and Vaporeon, when I was looking through the draft and I talked to M-Dragon, I'm like, I need Empoleon because
those two work together because they do different things.
They're very different waters. Absolutely.
Different waters. Even though they do share an electric weakness, I have a Zygarde and an Electros, and in some cases, a lot of electric types are Volt Absorb, so I got a Gardevoir. I got Lurantis who doesn't care about it. And if it's a special attack, Muck doesn't care about it. I really am happy with the team. There are a couple things though that I do not like about it that I'm not going to mention for obvious reasons.
Yep.
But
another thing about this draft is that Mega Scizor hits fire types. He's got a lot of ways of dealing with them. Zygarde, Empoleon to an extent, even Archeops. Just I love that synergy there.
Yeah, and then converted pressures fires for it as well. It's like
Right.
and this team
right.
this team doesn't have like the best answers to like. I mean, Lurantis is there obviously for like bulky waters. Vape can 1v1 some of them, but like it puts an immense amount of pressure on them. It just like most of them know wall everything.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, the biggest thing was about supporting Zygarde and Mega Scizor, and I think I did a pretty good job at that. I'm happier and happier with the Muck pick every single day because I was worried that it was going to be a little redundant on the team, but I think it ended up working for the best. And also, I'm excited to bring bring a Specs Archeops every single week.
I think Elon Muck is just so good to build with. Like it covers like so many special attackers.
It's such a good Pokemon. I love that thing. I love building with it so much.
Just I think it completely deserves tier 2.
Okay, shall we move on to our number 2?
Yep.
Average?
From one team that one person doesn't want to talk about to another team that another person doesn't want to talk about.
Hey, wow! Look,
Yeah.
Dragon doesn't want to put himself in first. This is a new development on this channel.
What's even more impressive is that he tried to not place himself at all before the draft.
He put himself in 5th. Wow. Reading down the rings one more time. Second to last time here. Mega Gallade, Zeraora, Snorlax, Roserade, Rabombi, Gastrodon, Cryogonal, Skarmory, Palisand, Kuma-Oh, and Volibee.
What do you mean? Oh, I swapped it out for Voltar.
I love the double fightings. Like that's a really strong like poke there. Just like trying
of Mega Gallade, Zeraora, and Snorlax all on the same team, like that is so much power that I'm just kind of shaking just thinking about it.
And he's got great.
Skarmory is perfect for this team, by the way. It's gonna be such a useful mon for this team.
I love the hazard options. I love like spikes plus Gallade plus Zeraora. Like it's awful to face, especially like spikes plus. You can just hazard stack. You can stack teams out of games and like just kill everything with Gallade. He's got webs as well. Like
Rabombi is also a really good special attacker as well. So it's not just webs. Like sometimes you have Pokemons who are literally just web setters, but then there are those few ones like Galvantula and Araquanid and Rabombi who can actually do stuff in addition to setting webs.
Yeah, Rabombi is really good. Like momentum, quiver dance. That's like it's just like he has like the nice little wall core here, like Snorlax, Gastrodon, Skarmory, Palisand, Volibee kind of can wall things. It's kind of surprisingly bulky, honestly. It's a good dark resist on a team that like kind of needs it. It's like it's kind of the pick makes sense.
I know that's going to be something that's going to be the wild card because that thing can do so many different things. And when you're worried about Snorlax, Zorora, and Mega Gallade, you're gonna forget about Como-O, and then all of a sudden it's gonna automatize, it's gonna Dragon Dance, it's gonna belly drum on you, and then you're gonna just like click X.
Yeah, pretty much. I love the spin. This draft just has everything. He's got the spinner. He's got the hazard stack options. He's got the backbone. He's the great ground type in Gastrodon. He's got great toxic switch. He's got a great scald switch in for like in Roserade. Like it's really good.
One thing I will mention is I stole Clutch's EPA core of Mega Gallade and Roserade, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Like Mega Gallade doesn't like fairies too much. Roserade loves to feast. Same with Como. Like the reason I picked Como late is like I was like, okay, Como hates fairies. Like I sort of have like one way of breaking them completely, and like Mega Gallade sort of like pressures them a lot.
The one like one of my knocks in this draft, like there's no Pursuit Trapper for like the double fightings. That's like kind
Yeah,
of unfortunate.
all the good dark types were growing early.
Good. That's the thing with darks. It's like they're like really good darks, or there's really bad darks. There's like no
Yeah.
mid ground.
Also, very important development. Snorlax's greatest weakness is knockoff, and then you get the best justified user in the meta.
Gallade is so good, and like Gallade plus Como just like take knocks so freely. And like, he's got great fighting. Like Skarmory can wall most fighting types, unless they're like special. But like, he also has a Palisand that'll like deal and like. I think Zero is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the one who immediately said, and you guys probably don't know about my philosophy when it comes to draft. I always try to get as much value as possible. I'm like, it's like, this should be tier 1. No, it should be tier 2. I was the first one who immediately said, Zoro needs to go back to tier 1 yesterday.
Yeah, we all thought that Zero was tier 2. We were wrong.
Very wrong. The Pokemon, this B tier plus like, it's like mood pools. Like,
it's coverage, set up options.
It's really good. All right. So, any last words on M-Dragon's team here?
I think we're good.
Nice. All right. Moving on to the final team here. Apparently, this is also a theme on my channel. Putting Frozen at 1 after post-draft. Mega Sceptile, Tapu Koko, Buzzwole, Bronzong, Tornadus, Skuntank, Licky Licky, Manaphy, Mamoswine, Diancie, and Blaziken.
So, as the person who didn't put him first, I probably have some explaining to do.
Yeah, you put him what?
But
you put him 5th, yeah.
Put him at 5th. I don't want to. The thing is that the big thing about this team with Coco and Buzzwole is that a couple of these really are. We just saw Granto use them expertly well in the UPA, and I don't want to get recency bias. It's a fantastic team. There's just the one thing that I'm really worried about with this team is the defoggers for it. None of them really want to either come or to defog if they do come. That's my one worry about this team.
I think
Torn Eye is a good sort of defogger.
Prankster defog is nice, I guess.
But and I agree, he is one of the best defoggers, but I'm just a little worried because that's going to end up forcing his hand, and what if that means not having Manaphy 1 week, or not having Mamoswine 1 week, or not having Buzzwole 1 week? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That Torn is a good Pokemon, but it's not a substitute for some other mons who would be a lot better for his team.
Another knock on this team. It's really hinged on Buzzwole's fighting resist. Buzzwole Coco is like fighting resists. Torn is like there, but it's also weak to rocks. Like, and like Buzzwole Coco are like decent fighting resist, but like especially Buzzwole because like it's Buzzwole and it's
Yeah, Clutch and I know what it is to prep for a Buzzwell.
It's awful. Hate killing Buzzwell, but like that's there. But like offensively, this team is unbelievably potent. Like Coco Manaphy is incredibly terrifying. I would not want to deal with that.
Mama Swine and Mega Septile.
Yeah, and
Omega Septile,
in Frozen's hands,
Clutch. You remember Frozen season 2 of the UPA. Mega Septile. He opened the eyes to everyone because that used to be a joke, Mega, in some circles, but that thing became terrifying. And the fact that this team is fairly weak is very welcoming to electric types. So having Mega Septile is so perfect.
I absolutely agree. That's one of my favorite things about this team. You've got Terrain Coco there. People want to be throwing off electric type attacks. You have to be very careful. If Mega Septile comes in, it's probably gonna outspeed whatever you've got. It's gonna be firing off a very strong leaf stone. It's probably gonna kill some. And obviously the proven Coco plus water type core is just awesome. Manaphy will beat pretty much any ground type there is. And Mamo is sort of like a good grass type killer as well. Love that he's got Torn there. Hurricanes and Messes. Free Z League. He can run Z on that whenever he
really plus good. Bronzong Gyro Ball against any kind of Scarfer that you try to bring to stop Coco.
Right.
Is going to be a huge thing to play around.
I personally think that Bronzong is the best teal to pair with Coco. It's immune to Earthquake. Deals with Scarfer's Gyro Ball, like you said. It's just a perfect steal. I love the Buzzwell pairing, obviously proven. His contact is really nice here as well. Decent defogger, can deal with psychics. Manaphy, obviously really good. It's just a really good team. I think it's got very few holes. Great speed tiers, defoggers, Torn's good. Really good rock crews. Bronzong can run rocks every week. Mamo can run rocks. You've got Wish.
I love Wish support with Licky on this team. Yeah. Just like passing to Bronzong is really great.
I don't know. I can't find too much to complain about. This team is just really good. Like when you draft Coco, you want a ton of pivots in the ground types, and he's got exactly one. He's got 4 really good pivots in the ground types, and they're it's really good.
Is that gonna be all from about this one?
Yep, I think that's gonna be it. I have nothing more to say. Like I said, I know people are probably thinking I'm hating on Frozen's team. I love it. Like I said, I'm just nitpicking at this point.
Yeah, we're a lot of nitpicking going on for this.
I also love Mamo on this team. I think it's a really good electric type check. Not really.
Mamo's so good.
Yeah. The priority. Like he's checked off every box on this team. He's done it really well, and we see how well he uses it.
Alright, so I think it's gonna do it for us here. Hopefully this will be back at a semi-regular rate. I'm not really sure how that's gonna work, but yeah, so that's gonna do it for us.
Hopefully we have one for the second and third draft of this league.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fair, BTown.
Yep. All right, so that'll do it for us here. So we'll catch you guys all later. So see you.
Yeah, see you guys.